Hello, and welcome to Celeste's any% debut GSA tournament. I hope I got those words in the right order. I probably didn't. I'm Lev067, and today we're going to have a race between two super fast Celeste players, Lev067 and ultramarlin. It seems that both racers this race have opted out of the pre-game interview, probably to focus on their performance. We can see them practicing and warming up. So yeah, we should be getting started pretty shortly. Let's see if the runners are ready in chat. So a little bit about this game. It is excellent, especially for a casual playthrough. If you haven't played through it already, I highly recommend it. You don't get a lot spoiled from this run. It's mostly just movement parts that you see, but not the actual narrative. Oh, it looks like we need to get some file names sorted out. That's our anti-cheating mechanism that we have here, so that we know that the runners are actually running live. Just a precaution. This also is a tournament with actual stakes. There is a prize pool that you can donate to. So yeah, there is some healthy competition going into this one, and as such, we've got only the best of the best. So as they're getting their names put in there, a little bit about predictions. Ultramarlin probably is the predicted winner of this one. His PB is almost exactly 5 minutes ahead of Lev, at least according to Speedrun.com, although both of them were set pretty recently, so who knows if that's actually up to date. But barring any major upsets, we should see ultramarlin as the winner here, but upsets have been known to happen, so there is a chance that things will be interesting. So looking at Lev's screen, he's practicing the summit portion of the race, which is some of the last stuff you'll see. And those screens can get pretty grisly. He's also showing off some of the speed tech that we have in this game, which I'll start to explain because it's going to go by really fast once the race starts. Basically, Madeline has two moves that she can do, a jump and a dash. And by combining them in various different ways, we can create all sorts of cool movement, including jump dashes, hypers, wall bounces, ultra dashes. You'll see a lot of that. I don't know if I'll have time to explain it as it happens. Okay, looks like both runners are getting their names put in, and we should start shortly. Okay, and the countdown has begun, and the runners are off. Looks like ultramarlin started a little bit ahead of Lev, so we'll probably get a sync. Yep, there it is. And we're seeing lots of hopping. This is because during the prologue section of the race, we actually haven't learned to dash yet. We're going to need a little bird to come tell us how to do that. And it looks like the runners are about to experience their first death, but it looks like time has slowed down and given them a second chance. And there's our first dashes of the game. Now the prologue section tends to be pretty synced up. It's optimized, but we only see about a 1 second discrepancy between runners, unless there happens to be a death, which is actually surprisingly easy to do and has been known to happen during some races. But luckily that has not happened today. Okay, so now that we have our dash, we are seeing some of the speed tech I described. Hypers, jump dashes, wall bounces. City is a pretty enclosed space. So as such, it tends to be pretty optimized, but there doesn't tend to be a lot of time discrepancy between runners coming out of City and the next level Old Site. Ultramarlin almost dropping down, but he was able to recover that. So yeah, as you can see, we're pretty synced up, and the movement is pretty much identical between these two. We also haven't seen any deaths yet, which is good. And this is our first spike jump, which, believe it or not, is not actually jumping on the spikes, but it's actually you jump against the wall. So it could be seen as kind of a glitch, but it's actually sort of built into the level design there. And it's actually possible to do that first level without dashing. In fact, the game rewards you with a golden strawberry if you're able to pull that off. So now we're into Old Site, and you'll see there's these things called dream blocks, which haven't been activated yet. They should be activated very soon, and once they are, you'll see Madeline will be able to dash straight through them. Okay, yeah, we're still synced here. And yeah, and by jumping out of dream blocks, we're able to retain our dash, which makes for some pretty fast movement in this level. It looks like Lev's early game is really good, considering that he's pretty much still synced. Despite having 5 second longer PB. This room can be pretty tricky, collecting those coins, especially that dash off the last ledge there. It's easy to hit the top and then kill yourself, but we haven't seen that. And Lev is coming up on the longest room in Old Site, which is pretty hazardous and problematic if you die at the end of it, especially since you need to weave through gathering these coins and avoiding battling. Okay, and both runners are heading into the Awake section pretty soon, which features almost 0 ways to die, but it can be a major source of time loss if you haven't perfectly optimized your movement. And as you can see on Ultramarlin's screen, he has definitely... Oh, Commentator's Curse. Okay. But yeah, this movement is very optimized from both runners. And they have finished the Awake section within seconds of each other. That is pretty outstanding. However, Resort is where we will probably see the runs diverge quite a bit. It's known to be one of the hardest levels because we've got some dust bunnies here, which are on strict cycles, which can be pretty hard to get past. Another thing about the dust bunny cycles is that they're different if you die. So a lot of runners, they have to memorize not just the rooms during the entrance cycle, but also death cycle, because it can be different, and yeah, you'll need different strats. So after gathering a few keys here, we're going to come up on a section called Big Mess, which is a very unique room in this run. It's not necessarily the funnest if you're a new runner, because, well, quite frankly, you don't go very fast. Even when it is optimized, there's just a lot of clutter in the way. But luckily there's no way to die, so at least it's not annoying in that regard. Oh, looks like a death from Lev after grabbing that key. Luckily it's not too punishing. And Ultramarlin is in the big mess section now. Actually, they're both in the big mess section right now. Good, and hitting that cutscene with Oshiro there, it's not really tricky, but if you messed up, then you have to do the entire big mess section again. So it's worth it to make sure that you get that right. And there is a spike jump from Ultramarlin. First try, very nice. And Lev takes a death in that box room. Again, not too punishing. Oh, and a death there. It looks like he was trying to wave dash, but his momentum got cancelled somehow. It's very annoying when that happens. So yeah, we're starting to see Ultramarlin take a slight lead here. Not by too much, though. There's still wiggle room. But yeah, as the run goes on, we probably expect that lead to grow. And this is my favorite section that Ultramarlin's on. Getting these towels, it just has some of the coolest movement to watch. And he takes the fast cycle through that room. We've been seeing a lot of the fast cycle there. It is quite a bit harder, but saves a second or two. And let's see if they have a good key room here. Ultramarlin does have a good key room. We've actually been seeing quite a few runners make mistakes there and kind of miss platforms, take a few seconds to recover. Also, this coin room is pretty hard. Ultramarlin pulling that off with finesse. Now, the big question on everyone's mind right now is, are we going to see demo dash? And will they be successful? Demo dashes are a trick that were just discovered only a couple weeks ago, and Ultramarlin is trying to pull it off. Let's see if we can get it. 2 tries, 3 tries, 4th try. Okay, so not bad. That actually, I think he broke even on that. I'm not entirely sure, but getting it first try saves about 12 seconds, whereas dying only costs about 3 or 4 maybe. But yeah, that's an incredibly hard trick to pull off, not just because it's pixel perfect, but because if you mess up several times, you kind of get this classic gambler's fallacy. And it looks like Lev opts out of Demo Dash to actually go for the quad hypers. Definitely a respectful choice. Now, Ultramarlin is on the Oshiro part of Resort, which is some of the hardest screens in the game. Oh, got his momentum canceled there. He is off cycle in the last room here, which can be very scary. So let's see if he can improvise a bit and pull this off. Yep. And Ultramarlin is out of Oshiro. Let's see if Lev can have similar luck. Or not luck, it's definitely skill. But oh, that was close. Oh no. Yeah, this room can definitely be tricky, especially if you don't get to that first spring in time. Then you have to do some pretty tight what's the word I'm looking for? Improvisation. And Lev making it through the final screen of Oshiro without a hitch. Now both runners are going to be in Ridge. Now Ridge is interesting. It's also very hard, but sort of for a different reason. There's a lot of tricks that you can pull off that are highly optimized, but only save a few seconds. Nevertheless, runners still go for them, especially when they're at the skill level. There's some pretty cool wall bounces that ultramarlin is showing off. And ultramarlin has reached the first auto-scroller skip. Let's see which strat he goes for. Okay, so not the ultra strat that many runners have been going for, but definitely the second fastest that you see in races. Lev here coming up on his wall bounce. Or I'm sorry, spike jump. Gets a third try. Now the spike jump that ultramarlin just showed off, it's actually not as difficult as I feel most runners think it is. Really all you need to do is just hold jump beforehand, and then you should line yourself up perfectly for that. But on the other hand, taking the outer scroller block really doesn't take much more time. Okay, now ultramarlin is at the harsh wind section. This is when speed tech becomes very important, because just walking here only takes you forward a couple of pixels per second. But you're not going to see any of that on ultramarlin's screen because he has optimized the heck out of this section. Oh, Lev dying on auto-scroller. Although I think he was in the first part of the room, not the last, so it wasn't too punishing. We've actually been seeing very few deaths from both runners here. So that's definitely a positive for both of them. I say as ultramarlin takes a death. Looks like he missed that wall jump. And ultramarlin is out of Ridge with a 12:28. Now, Temple is actually my favorite level in the run. And yeah, ultramarlin are pulling off a nifty reverse hyper there. So we've got some very broad open rooms that you can really show off your movement in during the first half of it. And then during the second half, you'll see later. Actually, let me see if ultramarlin's going for yeet. And he gets the corner boost. That is an impressive trick. But he does not go for double bubble skip. Totally a respectable choice. Yeah, so as I was saying, the first half of Temple offers these big wide rooms that you can showcase your movement. Whereas the second half, you have some pretty hard obstacles to get through. You've got seekers which hone in on your location, and they can be very difficult to move around, and then at the last minute or so of the run, you need to carry your friend Theo, which offers very different mechanics than the rest of the game. Now, ultramarlin is in the Seeker section, where you actually play as a Seeker, and that's the one time you want to actually kill Madeline. Or actually, there are other times, but that's the one time in the narrative of the game you kill Madeline. And Lev, it looks like, pulled off a yeet as well. That's a double yeet race for you. So yeah, ultramarlin is making his way around some Seekers right now. That one's always fun to kill. Just storm into the room and go bop. Now this, the room that ultramarlin's on right now has been known because it's very punishing if you die here, and it's also very easy to die. As you can see, you have to kind of dance your way around that Seeker. And he is coming up on Search Skip, which is the largest skip in the game. It is also developer intended, believe it or not. It may not look it. But that saves having to go gather some keys and go through a bunch of other rooms. So all in all, it saves maybe a couple minutes. Lev has entered the secret part of the run 2. Looks to have a little trouble. Getting that bunny hop low enough can sometimes be pretty difficult. Lev also taking a few deaths on this screen. This, if you can't tell, requires some very optimized movement. Oh, dying to this one as well. And ultramarlin just pulled off a very cool looking strat where you actually hyper off of the moving dash block, and that gives you a very significant speed boost. Oh, dancing with the Seeker on the last room there. Oh my god. Okay, he fought it to the end, but he made it through. And now he's on the last room of Temple, where you throw Theo into a giant eye for plot reasons. Looks like Lev is coming up on the Theo section very soon, as ultramarlin is heading into Reflection. Now, Reflection features the movement of feathers, which they actually act very differently whether you use a keyboard versus a controller, because it's the only section of the game that requires, or doesn't require, but it accepts omnidirectional input. And it looks like ultramarlin is using controller. And Lev is using some ultra strats with Theo to go. You can actually get yourself going very fast here, because ultras are the fastest movement you can do in the game just by Madeline herself, but also picking up Theo gives you an additional speed boost. There's another one. And ultramarlin takes Lake Skip. Very hard skip in the game, but you see a lot of top tier runners like him doing it. Okay, and Lev is in the eyeball room with Theo as well. Struggling a little, but not too much. Getting out with, I believe, an 1859. So the reflection section, in a way, kind of mirrors the Mirror Temple in that the first half you've got these kind of wide open rooms to demonstrate your movement, but in the second half you've got this kind of ultimate showdown in the game with the battle-in, and it becomes somewhat combat-based, even though the combat is actually just your movement. You need to hurl yourself into battle in multiple times. But before that, we've got to get through some bumpers and then also a ravine section. I also forgot to look if Lev took Lake Skip or not. I'll try to catch that next race. But ultramarlin is heading into the ravine section right now. It's the only section of the game that features a screen where you actually have to swim through water, which is pretty easy in casual play, but optimizing it can actually be somewhat difficult. Obviously because there's spikes there. So one misdirected dash and you kill yourself. Let's see if you can get battle and boost off this Kevin block. Goes for it. Looks like his momentum was cancelled, unfortunately. But it doesn't waste too much time. And now he is into the battling section. This is really fun to watch. I remember watching speedruns of this before I actually ran the game myself. It absolutely baffled me that people were able to just get such optimal movement in here. Okay, you will be taking that feather. There is a strat that you can actually avoid that feather. It probably only saves a second or so, but it looks really cool. And Lev is in ravine now as well. Okay. Now on ultramarlin's screen, there's actually no real way to die in that room, but it's a precursor to the remix section of Battleline where she starts throwing around blocks, which can either get in the way or they can become platforms and help you. But nevertheless, it's very hard to predict in casual play where those blocks are going to go, and as such you end up taking a lot of deaths. Luckily with optimizations, we can get through it just as fast. And ultramarlin on the last two screens of Battleline. These screens can be very punishing if you die, especially the last screen here. And he gets through, and now let's see if he can optimize his movement to make a clean exit. Okay, and ultramarlin is out of reflection and onto summit, where we have to climb the entire mountain again. Luckily this time, the levels are a bit shorter, although since Madeline does have a second dash now, there's some additional challenging screens. Not additional challenging screens, just more challenging screens. Now, as we're climbing the mountain again, the summit is actually sectioned off into 7 different sections. We've got the base, and then we've got every 500-meter section. I don't know what that is in feet. The devs that made this are Canadian, so we've got the metric system. And so the 500-meter clearly mimics the city section of the run. But yeah, as you can see, the screens are different, and you definitely need to make good use of both of your dashes here. Oh, taking me death there. But he gets that ultra strat, which is very hard. And he also gets that zipper grab. That's harder than it looks. And Lev is on the last 2 screens of Battle Line as well. Let's see if he can do this without dying. Okay. His momentum got cancelled on the entrance of that, which can be hard to recover from, but it looks like he did manage to pull it off. Oh no! That death is costly. But he gets it second time. And he'll be entering Summit as ultramarlin is in the 1,000 meter, which mimics Old Sight. Now, since we have 2 dashes, you're going to see, or you've been seeing, a lot of ultraing out, or sorry, not ultraing, hypering out of the dream blocks, which speeds things up a bit. Now, the 1500 is known to be the hardest section of the because it mimics Resort, of course, and these dust bunnies can be absolutely gruesome to get behind, or to get around. On the other hand, it looks really cool when you do, and ultramarlin has not been struggling. And he gets the triple ultra strat. Very hard, saves quite a bit of time. Now, at the end of each of these sections, you'll see a sort of cutscene where Madeline and Badeline, they're flying up through the air and they need to talk to each other. And you actually need to manually skip these as Madeline breaks into her 2 parts. And despite being easy, it's like, if you just mistime that just by a second, then you can end up killing yourself and waste a lot of time, which we have seen happen in runs before. Looks like Ultramarlin gets auto-scroller skip on the first try. That's a very difficult section to do. Let's see if he can get this one as well. And he does. I also realize I'm setting myself up for Commentator's Curse like constantly, but these runners are not even phased one bit. Now Lev is in the 1,000 meter, getting the Hyper out of Dream blocks as well. Oh, wow. I actually don't even know how he died on that. Okay, now this section that Ultramarlin's in has some, a lot of skips that, they have names, and they have names for a reason. They're pretty hard to execute. Oh, okay. So it looks like he was able to thread the needle, but since he didn't have his dash, he did have to grab the back of that block, and he gets door skip. That was very quick movement by, or very quick thinking by Ultramarlin, that he was able to save that. Now this last section of the 2,500 meter, this can be the most costly death in Summit, I believe. There are a few flags at the 3,000 meter that are almost as long, but yeah, dying there would really suck, but he does not. And now he is entering downdraft as Lev is finishing up his 1,500 meter. Downdraft is tricky because, well, you've got wind pushing you down, which in effect just it acts as extra gravity, essentially. So you really need to have optimized movement in order to not die on the spikes there, especially since a lot of it, well, there's a lot of traversal over spikes that involves wall bouncing. Oh, okay. Ultramarlin was taking some neutral jumps while dash block to respawn. He's had some amazing saves here, and Lev gets auto-scroller skip. Both runners are performing phenomenally here. So now Ultramarlin is in updraft. So here we have the opposite effect, where wind is blowing us up, and Madeline is effectually very light. However, to speed things up, we actually want to fast fall through a lot of this, because otherwise it just takes a lot more time. And these flags in particular can be very costly if you don't get them first try. Ultramarlin getting them first try. Okay, final 6 flags for Ultramarlin. Looks like he won't be getting PB, he's already missed that, but that's hardly expected from top runner during a tournament race. It looks like he should be coming up with, my guess is a low 33. I could be wrong though. I'm pretty bad at predicting these things. He dies trying to go for that diagonal dash there. That's a very hard strat to do. And Lev is going for door skip. Doesn't make it the first time, but makes it the second. It's also better that he dies on the first door rather than the second door. Just doesn't lose as much time. And ultramarlin will be finishing with a time of 33:22, it looked. So not a bad run at all. Now Lev's PB is, I believe, 37:06, I want to say. Let me just double check that actually. Sorry, 37:01. So it looks like, depending on how he does this, he could be on pace. Very good downdraft section. Although I don't want to speak too soon, you can still die there. As I found out in my race. Taking an interesting strat on that flag where he actually saves his dash. Okay, flag 13. Okay, that's an acceptable death to have, because it was just at the very beginning of the flag. If you want to die anywhere, it's right there. And he makes it through flag 13. That's probably the biggest source of time loss that could have happened. Does take, what was that, flag 10? Some runners don't take that to save like a fraction of a second, but... Oh no. Well, it's not the worst flag to die on, but that was costly. Okay, final 6 flags. It looks like if all goes right, he will PB. The question is, by how much? Gets that diagonal dash first try. Very nice job. Flag 2. Death on flag 2. But not too costly. Another death. You can do this. I have faith. Just breathe. I shouldn't say that. It's not just breathing. It's actually performing really tight tricks, but... Oh man. Okay. That was a 37:03 it looked like. Which was just off his PB by about 2 seconds. So yeah, that may have been heartbreaking, but we do have another race soon. So with that type of performance, if he's able to hold that into the second race, then we could very likely see another PB from Lev. What a race. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna take a short break, give our runners some time to cool down, and then we're gonna go at it again. Stay tuned. Okay, so both runners are preparing to get ready. It looks like we're going to use the same file name because it just rolls off the tongue. So we'll see if we can get a countdown soon, and we're about to begin. Okay, so we're receiving some. Well, there seems to be some problem with Discord. It looks like I'm actually going to count them off. So, runners, on your mark. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait. Technical difficulties. 1 second. So, oh, I need to count them in chat. Right. Okay. And we should be off any second. So we are off to more bunny hopping. Hopefully prologue will go same as last time and not feature any deaths. And we've got a sync. And here is the birdie right on cue. Also, a little word of encouragement from the developers there, just in case you're doubting yourself. Always nice to have. I don't know why these runners would doubt themselves, though. They've probably completed this game numerous times. Just a guess. Ultramarlin missing that first wall bounce, but adapting the strat. So we'll see if City and Old Site go the same as last race, and because last race they were actually neck and neck until Resort. But it looks like Ultramarlin is actually struggling a bit. So, based on last race, we may actually see Lev come out of this in first. Or not, because they're pretty much synced up now. Oh, Ultramarlin failing that spike jump. Oh, and that corner grab there. He was taking a harder strat than Lev, but it seems that it paid off for Lev to take the easier way. So going into the Old Site, they're pretty much neck and neck, although Lev does have a slight lead. Okay, using the Dream Block to skip the cutscene, saves about a second. We'll see how long Lev is able to maintain this lead. Hopefully at least through the rest of Old Site. And it looks like they're almost perfectly synced now. Both runners choosing a fast fall there. It looks like they have the same strat at the end of this room too. There are several different strats depending on which little corridor you want to go in first. And both heading into the Awake. Lev still slightly ahead. And yeah, Lev does come out of Old Site with a 3-second lead over Ultra. Looks like extra work on that Awake really paid off. So despite what happened at the hotel last time, there doesn't seem to be any competition, so it looks like we're spending another night here. I don't know if that's the smartest choice, knowing how things went last time with Oshiro. It looks like Ultramarlin has caught up just through movement alone. I don't think Lev took any deaths. And Ultramarlin navigating Big Mess again. Skips the cutscene successfully. And he's on to take care of some boxes. Getting the heavy lifting out of the way first. By the way, in this this section of the run, you can actually take care of the various components of Big Mess in any order you choose. However, this is the preferred order for virtually every speedrunner because of the way that the way you exit each corridor puts you right next to Oshiro, so it saves time going through Big Mess multiple times. So Ultramarlin is in the lead now, although Lev is keeping the distance close. I believe in the last race they were off by about a section each. And it looks like yeah, it does look closer, right? Like the distance is less than a full section. Oh, Lev taking a death there. Those bunnies can be pretty tight to jump through. Oh, but he does take the fast strat there. And Ultramarlin coming up on Demo Dash. He was able to get it 4th try last time. Let's see if he can make it earlier this time. 2nd try. That is not bad. One thing about Demo Dash is that that a lot of people kind of overlook, I think, is that it's very tough psychologically, because you've got classic gambler's fallacy. If you fail it 4 times, it's still technically worth doing because it will still save you time if you get it the next time. But on the other hand, it can be incredibly mentally taxing and put you under a lot of pressure. So if you're at all inconsistent, then, well, you can be inconsistent and still use it to your advantage, but you need to be confident. And Ultramarlin is just blazing through Oshiro. It looks like he was on a favorable cycle in that last screen. I remember last race he had to improvise a bit. And Lev is on Oshiro as well. So yeah, this gap is closer than it was last race, so this could definitely work in Lev's favor if he's pushing the PB. Although it still definitely is too early to say. Oh, he hits that spring. Yeah, this room, although there is no RNG in this room, like the tightness of the optimization can allow some weird stuff to happen like that, resulting in deaths. Let's see if Lev can get through the last screen just fine, and he does. Ultramarlin is coming up on a spike jump, gets the first try, very nice. Can do these wall bounces. Not a problem. Let's see if he goes for the same strat as last time for auto scroller skip. Actually, I don't know why he would do a different strat, but very nice. Oh, okay, Ultramarlin letting that block soar off into the distance, but he does know how to use the cloud there, so not a problem. Oh, he actually died on that spike. I guess I'm eating my words. Alright, and we're seeing that fast strat through the bubbles and cycle wind from Ultramarlin, and now he is into the heavy wind section. And Lev is... yes, he pulls off the auto-scroller skip with a slightly slower strat than Ultramarlin, but a lot safer. It's a very smart choice to use there. Ooh, Ultramarlin almost dying on the snowball, but shows that he's... oh no! Ultramarlin has had a lot of very close saves this game, I was gonna say. Almost jumping over that bubble, but he does get into it and finishes off Ridge. Let's see if Lev can make this auto-scroller skip. And he does. Oh, going right into those spikes there. It looks like he missed the bunny hop on that strat. Oh, and he goes over. That's not something you see a lot of runners doing. So Lev is on Harsh Wind as Ultramarlin is entering Temple. This is, I believe, still closer than it was last race. Lev taking a death to snowballs. This room especially can be tough. And Ultramarlin gets yeet again. He has definitely put in the practice for that one. Okay, Lev is coming up on Temple, while Ultramarlin is entering the secret section. Ultramarlin skipping 4 cutscenes in a row here, showing off his fast menuing, and taking a spike jump strat in that room. And now ultramarlin is on the scariest secret room, in my opinion, and in lots of people's opinion. But he gets through it just fine, and he will proceed to search skip. Gets search skip. It looks like Lev is hitting the buttons in the mirror room, entering Seeker shortly. Oh no. So ultramarlin missing the button with Theo, forcing him to actually climb over that wall himself. But otherwise, we are seeing a pretty smooth section from here, getting a lot of those Theo ultras. Oh no! Spoke too soon again. Also, it looks like Lev had a little bit of a struggle with that last room, but he managed to save it. Oh, that's scary. He showed himself to the Seeker a little bit early, so the Seeker started dashing to him early, so he had to improvise. Improvising in this game is a very scary thing to do, but it is also a very necessary skill, because even the best runners, like with the world records, they need to improvise multiple times during their races. And ultramarlin finishes off the eyeball room very quickly. And he is going into reflection as Lev is coming up on search skip. So yeah, mad props to Lev for being able to keep the gap consistently narrower than it was last week. So hopefully he can continue to do so and get a PB. His last race, he only missed it by 2 seconds, I believe. Well, it looks like he's also struggling a bit with the Seekers, although he's still pulling off those Ultra strats, so we'll see if just the tight movement can get him through this with an adequate time. Oh, and more improvisation. Ah, no. It's always a problem when you race the Seeker to a button, because you can get tunnel vision. For some reason, the Seeker seems to always know where you want to go. Lev doing more improvisation with Theo. Ooh. Okay, he gets through it. Back on track. And into the last Theo room. Or sorry, this is the last Theo room. That was the last Seeker room. That's what I meant to say. Has a good eyeball room. So even though Theo was a bit turbulent, he hasn't lost that time save he had from last race, because I believe he was getting into Reflection as Ultramarlin was on Battling last time. And Ultramarlin is heading into Ravine. Okay, so I made sure, or I missed this last time, but it looks like Lev is not taking a skip. Marlin proving that he is indeed a fish. Swimming through there very quickly. And let's see if he can get the battle boost. Nails it this time. Oh, it looks like Lev somehow lost his momentum there. But that death was quick, so it shouldn't set him back too hard. Okay, so aside from a few hiccups... Oh! It looks like Ultramarlin went to skip that feather. I believe he took the feather last time, but that was exciting to see. Oh! Oh, Lev almost saved that. He hit the bumper wrong and went straight forward for the spikes, and he dashed out just in time, but then he died still. Like Ultramarlin also struggling on this room with Madeline's lasers. A lot of these deaths happen during the screen transitions. The stress that these runners are using, they really rely on maintaining your momentum through that transition. And if something happens and you lose that momentum, then you might have to improvise the entire room. Which can be very scary, especially during battling. Okay, Lev swimming through the water section, and he is on the battle line boost. And he... Oh, yeah, okay. That's still good. He got the boost, and then he died on the spikes. But that death is not very costly, since it spawns you at almost the exact location. And Ultramarlin clears Battlein, and is left to just double dash his way out of the Reflection chapter. Lev taking a death on that feather room. But again, these deaths are not very costly ones, so It hasn't set either of these runners back too far. Okay, so Lev is coming up on the remix section of Battle Line. Another minute or so. Oh, got crushed by those blocks. That can kind of be a weird room because it's hard to time. Oh, didn't catch the train on that one. Okay, so these are the rooms that Lev is on where if you die it costs a lot, so hopefully you can get through those and get on to Summit. Oh, he dies on that one. Well, luckily it wasn't at the end of the room. But still, not a good death to have. And Lev is clear of all danger. And he is just trying to race his way to the top of Reflection as well. Looks like he will join Marlin in Summit. He still has less of a gap than he had last race. So it speaks volumes that he's able to just keep his time consistently up there. And he will probably have some leeway in Summit to still be able to PB this. Ultramarlin showing some excellent hypers out of Dream Blocks. Funny thing is, if you do the hyper a bit too late out of that Dream Block, what happens is you actually dash straight down, or not straight down, but like down diagonal, and it looks ridiculous. And of course you kill yourself, so that's no good, but these runners have practiced that. Ultramarlin going through the 1500. Some of the hardest and the coolest looking movement in the game. Let's see if we can get that. Oh! Okay, so he actually went back to re-enter the room with his momentum so he could get that trip strat. And there's Frank Z. Ultramarlin entering 2000. I always want to call him Ultra Martin for some reason. It's because I had a roommate named Martin. Okay, so Lev is out of the city portion of Summit, entering the Dream Blocks. We'll see some more optimized movement from him. Also very fun to watch. Okay, but look at Ultramarlin here. He's gonna do the auto-scroller skip. Oh! Oh, so what he did there was he actually put the block a couple pixels too high, and then the block adjusted and sent him into those spikes. There's a lot that can go wrong on that screen. But he does get a second try, and now he's on. Lev finishing off the 1000 meter, and he is into the arguably hardest section of the run. Oh, Ultramarlin taking a pretty harsh death at the end of this room. Jump too early and hit those spikes. Let's see if Lev is going to use that triple ultra strat too, or does he have something else up his sleeve? Nope, he goes for it and he gets it first try. And Lev is out of 1500. Marlin having a little bit of trouble with key skip, not too much. Oh, but Lev misses that wall bounce twice. 4 times. He might have to go for that. Nope, he gets it. And ultramarlin threading the needle just fine. Misses the first door-on-door skip. Oh no, misses the second door-on-door skip. This is why door skip has become an increasingly popular strat. Even runners like ultramarlin fail it sometimes. And Lev is on auto-scroller skip, and he gets it first try. He also got the hard, by the way, where the second dash is horizontal rather than diagonal. So that makes for an even tighter window. Okay, ultramarlin on downdraft. Gotta click that dash crystal. Looks like we're coming into a very exciting finish. At least in terms of getting Lev's PB. In order for Marlin to PB, I think he would need to finish in less than a minute, so I don't know if that's... Yeah, because he's got the whole updraft to do. But nevertheless, we're going to see some amazing movement from him, finishing off the race. And Lev gets key skip first try. I don't know who to focus on. This race is so exciting. Okay, Lev gets door skip, the first one, and the second one. Saving that second. He did miss his PB by 2 seconds last time, so maybe skip is definitely worth it in this case. I didn't see if ultramarlin skipped flag 10. The stream lagged a little bit there, but nevertheless, whether he got it or not, it doesn't matter because he did not die. And ultramarlin is finishing up now. Last 6 flags. And Lev makes his way through the clouds at the beginning of downdraft. That section is very hard to learn because your visibility is completely obscured during a wall bounce, so you just have to know exactly where it is by heart. Okay, ultramarlin on flag 2, flag 1. he gets a 33.27, which was only, I believe, 5 seconds off from his run last time. And all eyes are on Lev now. Let's see. These flags are where it matters the most. If he can execute this first try, then chances are he'll have a pretty substantial PB. Alright, and he gets that neutral wall jump. Let's see if he takes this flag. He does. Rather be safe than sorry for that one. Okay, it looks like Lev may be able to beat his PB by over a minute, for sure. I think he may be able to get like mid 35s here. And he gets that diagonal dash first try again. And as long as no deaths happen on flag 1, we are going to see a substantial PB by Lev. Congratulations, that is a 35.15, which if speedrun.com is up to date, that is substantial. That is a minute and 46 second PB, or 45 second PB. It's 35.16. So yeah, huge congratulations to Lev. Huge congratulations to ultramarlin for continuing into the next round. And we just saw a really good race. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, I'm getting word from Lev. It actually wasn't a PB, so he got a 34.59 earlier today. But nevertheless, that one was substantial. So yeah, obviously the hard work has been really paying off for both runners. Okay, so thank you for watching. We are done with this race. Let's see, are we gonna get an interview? Looks like maybe not. Yeah, I don't think we're getting an interview this time, but still, nevertheless, congrats to both runners. We'll see ultramarlin in the future. Very good game, Lev. And yeah, so stay tuned. I believe at 6 p.m. we have another race, which I will also be commenting along with RD Walsh. That's for Star Cruncher and FC Racers. So yeah, we can reconvene when that happens. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.